book notes I'm going to do in the spirit of the book. So I'm going to walk around, which is like pacing, in a room that I've locked myself in. And so I'm like a little parcel of fluid flowing around. And in the flowing around, or I'm a little parcel flowing around in the fluid of air. There's a way of phrasing it. I'm Tanis Coralee Leonhardi, she, her, hers of Seattle. I'm Tanis Coralee Presley, she, her, hers of Graceland. These are my book notes on Life in Moving Fluids, The Physical Biology of Flow by Steven Vogel. I'll put book information in the video description. This one entered my collection in the first half of 2015. First half running January to June 2015. And it's a good book. I like the writing, like the format of the book. There's illustrations, but not pictures, which is kind of fun. The text looks a little bit like this. And it kind of talks about fluid flow, but then also and some of the key things in there, so like concepts and numbers, so like Reynolds number, drag scale, it's chapter 5. But it also talks about how different organisms interact with fluids and how kind of like they have one in here where the morphology of a shell, right? An organism that has drag on their shell, if they're in the ocean or in a stream or a river or something like that, the fluid moves around the shell. So nature, it kind of puts out there that how that fluid interacts, or there's a perhaps nature has designed something like that. There's organisms can interact with fluids, and so they may be designed, so to speak, to interact with those flowing fluids, and then fluids interact with themselves. And let's see. There is, like, as in if there's more than one fluid, or the different fluid, it's the same fluid but has different properties. And one that might be of interest to you, so if Sarah Sjostrom, I take her on as someone to mentor, maybe something she looks at is, oh, there's a frog. Do frogs swim? But no, something like, even if she didn't want to do it, but she's like, but how do I get more technical, just as like a getting familiar with science if I don't, or if I'm a bit rusty or I don't have that already. Chapter 12 is on the thrust of flying and swimming. And so when I got this book back in the first half of 2015, it was an interesting one because it was like, this book came out in the 1990s. It's like 1994. It was like, oh yeah, the press and sports actually gets a lot of their terminology from science and mathematics, and the entertainment industry does as well. Like, something will be a trend in science for decades, and then, you know, singers finally come around on the, let's make that a concept in our songs or our TV show or this movie. But I thought this was a good book of just like, you know, yeah, thrusting swimmers, pelvic thrusts, or gyrating. Yeah, that comes from science, right? The thrust terminology. And so that was kind of fun. So Sarah Sjostrom, you don't have to actually do that if you do become my mentee, because I have a copy that I can loan you, if I still have it at that point in time, and if that comes to be, kind of thing. But yeah, so it's a good one to read in that sense, or peruse, or look through. I guess peruse is like under scrutiny. So depending on your level of commitment, but it's a good one in that sense of providing kind of a animals and biology interact with fluids as well. So it's not just it's water in a glass. It's like, and out in the ocean there are some organisms actually take into account how that water in a glass can flow in a different context. And they're anatomically designed. They have a morphology to accommodate different fluid flows that they might encounter as an organism in their lifetime. So there we go. Then I'm filming this Thursday, 19 December 2024 is my walking and talking video.